We're going to continue to follow the story up north, where there was an explosion at our border up in Buffalo, New York, between Buffalo and Canada. Let's bring in Adam Boehler, a former Taliban negotiator and former CEO of the International Development Finance Corporation. Adam, I apologize for the change of stories, but you know, breaking news, it does change a lot of things. You've had a lot of dealings in the past with terrorists, dealing with terrorists. What you know about them, particularly as it has morphed over the years into what we have now with Hamas and Hezbollah. Do you think those folks are here taking advantage of a porous border?
You know, I think what I'm going to start with, David, is the way it makes us feel. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the malaise of the Carter administration. Because we have a situation where we have a weak economy and a weak foreign policy.
Yep.
And so the first thing we think about here is terror. Right? And that is, it just reminds me of Carter administration dynamics. And you always have to be fearful because of what's going on in Israel. It makes us feel that way.
Of course, the difference between then and now is that Iran has become far more sophisticated than it was when Carter was president. It was just the beginning stages of the revolution. They've had decades in power, and they've built up all kinds of infrastructure, particularly on the international front, particularly dealing with supporting and financing terrorism around the world. So they have that extra jump, if you will, that would give them more abilities to sneak people in. And nowadays, you don't have to sneak people in. You just walk across the border.
And we've enabled it too, especially over the last few years. You know, the right thing to do here was to cut them off economically. You see the economic input going into Iran, the policy of appeasement. It's enabled that over the last few years, which has enabled the situation you see now in Israel.
And now the terrorists, to be part of that enabling, is you see the deal that was made with for the hostages. Now I understand the human element here. You desperately want those hostages to be saved. You'll do anything in order to make that happen. But the question is, do you hold on to, do you maintain the pursuit of Hamas that Israel justifiably began? And does this pause in hostile actions affect that ultimate goal that Israel has?
I mean, there's no question there's a reason why Hamas is doing this. So at the end of the day, when you negotiate with terrorists, when I negotiate with the Taliban, they're terrorists. And you have to recognize what they want, but they're also self-interested. So why are they doing this? Trust me, it's not out of the goodness of their hearts. It's because they're going to regroup over the next 4 days. Now, at the same time, we have 50 people that we can get out of there alive, including Americans, innocent women and children. These are the tough choices that you face in a situation like this, but Hamas will definitely take advantage of it.
There are also questions about who they're getting back from Israel, these 150 terrorists that Israel's been holding. We remember, I think his name is pronounced Yahya Sinwar. He's a big Hamas honcho. He was once an Israeli prisoner. He was imprisoned by the Israelis. He was given up in a hostage swap that they had. So, I mean, it could be that these 150 prisoners that Israel's giving up for their 50 could be back in the war front.
Yeah. Look, there's a reason they're doing it. Hamas will regroup. You've got 150 for 50. At the end of the day, these are people that were pulled from their cars, women and children. On the other side, these are people that were involved in attacks against Israelis. So there's no equivalency here, but it's a tough choice. You've got 50 people coming home, too.
Now, there is good news, and the good news from my perspective is that the lies of Hamas and all of their supporters, and we've seen their supporters pop up in every city in America practically, in universities, Ivy League universities, their lies are being disputed not only by Israel itself, which they say is just propaganda, but by independent observers. Our Trey Yingst just went to one of the tunnel systems that they had underneath one of the main hospitals, the Al-Shifa hospital, which all of the Hamas supporters were saying was Israeli propaganda. Well, now we have independent observers like our Trey Yingst going in, and we're looking at those videos now that Trey took earlier today. It really shows the world the lie that Hamas has been living with.
Well, it's nonsensical. If Israel wanted to destroy all the hospitals, they could do it with a push of the button immediately, within 2 minutes. Why go through a whole charade here from this perspective? So it's not clear what the explanation would be otherwise. And so Israel was doing that for the clear reason that Trey showed. So, I mean, I'm not quite sure the other explanation that people would want to think it would be.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I felt the same way you did, but obviously there are a lot of ill-informed people who go along with the flow, but they can't deny now, and we have to get these pictures out everywhere where people are doubting that Hamas are the terrorists that they really are, that they did what we know they did on October 7th, and that they will continue to do that unless they are stopped in their tracks right now. Adam, thank you so much for rolling with the punches here. I really appreciate it. Adam Boehler.
Thanks, David. No problem.
And I appreciate the work that you've done in diplomacy for this nation. God bless you.